Hello and welcome to the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast. Now, my name is Steve Smith and I am your host. I am the Golfing Greenkeeper on social media. If anyone has not come across my account, go to the socials. Go to Instagram, go to Facebook, go to Twitter. Less so on Twitter, I will be honest. Also on LinkedIn though. And feel free to go in there and have a chat with me at all sorts of other things. Look, I am here to try and educate you all about all things happening, greenkeeping, golf course architecture, golf construction, and the like from within and what goes on behind the scenes on golf courses, so you can try and learn better and play better golf out there and enjoy your golf experience more, but also to give you inside information and also just enjoy some of the stories that come out, some of the interviews that I have. Hopefully you're learning things along the way. I feel some Walking the Fairways news coming along in this segment. This is episode number 60. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's just get stuck right into Walking the Fairways. Come with me and enjoy as we browse around the country's golf courses and golf and all sorts of things going on. I'm going to offer a few opinions on this one, so I'll let you know when it's coming. If you're interested in the news, that's great. Come along and listen. Always trying to be positive and upbeat about all things happening and keep you up to date so you can stay excited. But a little bit later on, I'm going to have an opinion about a couple of things, so I'll warn you, I'll tell you. If you're not interested, you can tune out. But let's start off with some good stuff, and I want to get straight into something that was new to me. Something recently that I was invited to go along and catch up with someone. So I'm just going to let you know what it was. I recently went down and had an opportunity to catch up with Jessica Eden from Australian Women's Golf Network, and they had an event only just the other day in Sydney at the wonderful Lakes Golf Club there on Sydney Sandbelt, as we like to call it. We've got a little piece of sand. There's a couple of wonderful golf courses on there, steeped in history, and the Lakes is but one of them. Now, shout out to Jess. She told me that they were going to have an event in town, and we've been talking a little bit. And I wanted to catch up with Jess, to meet Jess, and see what this Women's Golf Network was all about, because I'd been doing some talking to Jess online. I've been doing a little bit of research, and I just think this is a wonderful thing for women to get involved with, for particularly women in business to get involved with. It's based around golf, and it's women in business and golf, and they can they learn about the game, they get out there and enjoy the game, get lessons, trying to get better and improve, but just all round to enjoy golf in a bit of a different way. And it's so welcoming, and I wanted to meet Jess, I wanted to learn a bit about it. And you know what? The thing that stood out for me was I was only there quite briefly. I was only there for half an hour, 45 minutes, to be honest. And that's all the chance I had to go and see. And it is a fantastic group. This is a fantastic network. It's a fantastic golf network for women. The first thing that stood out for me was how much fun all the women were having playing golf. And the women that I saw was playing golf, and I was with Jess, and we're driving around the cart and she was following some of the groups, and she's the organizer of the network and the events that they get on with. I just saw the faces of these women playing golf, and they were having an absolute whale of a time. An absolute whale of a time. They had smiles from ear to ear, and it wasn't always when they hit the best shots. They were having a laugh. They were having fun. They were enjoying themselves. It wasn't the greatest Sydney day. It was a little bit cool. It is winter out there. They were just enjoying themselves. Now part of it is just they have a pro around, or a couple of pros around, going around helping the women out there as they're playing golf. It gives them pointers, gives them tips. So this particular event that I was down there that they saw was a four-person Ambro. So they were having fun getting around. Quite an easier way to navigate your way around the golf holes. And all in all, I was just sitting back and I had a smile on my face watching these women have a smile on their face enjoying golf. So I didn't get to see a lot of the other stuff. I didn't have the time to stay there. But I really appreciated the opportunity to meet with Jess. I met one of the pros, Phoebe Torrens as well, was one of the pros, young pros there that was going around helping the women out there on the golf course. And it was just so good to see. So that was one of the things. So if this interests you, if you're interested in golf, getting access to some of the best golf courses in Australia, it's based and started out of Melbourne, but it's moving around the country, and they're growing and moving to other states, they're into Sydney and the like as well. So they're moving around, they're getting bigger, and they've got a great network and a great membership group that's growing ever so fast. And it's really hit the mark because it's really starting to grow super quick, and I'm really impressed with where they're playing golf. So like I said, it was just so good to see them out there enjoying themselves. And one of the things that actually stood out to me was I was there, we were out on one of the fairways, I think we're on the 11th hole at the Lakes, and I saw, I was watching the women play as they were going down the 11th, and Jess sort of looked at me and said to me, she goes, Steve, what are your thoughts when we take divots out of the fairways? And it was an interesting question because, like I said, these women who are playing, a lot of them are getting into golf for the first time, learning the game. They're coming from sort of a nowhere, don't have a lot of background, don't have a lot of the lessons in golf or a great swing, or they don't have time playing golf over years. So they're learning the game, and they're learning it and experiencing some of the best golf courses in the country, like I said. And Jess asked the question, what are your thoughts as a greenkeeper when you see us out here taking divots and the like around the golf course, and effectively, I suppose, in a roundabout way, she's sort of saying, we're upsetting the turf surfaces. These beautiful, pristine fairways are out here. What are your thoughts? Didn't take me too long, not very long at all. My first thought was, it's great to see because you're having fun. That was it. I don't care as a turf manager, as a superintendent, as just a greenkeeper, whatever way you want to view my position in the past or anyone's position there in their career as greenkeepers, whether it's apprentice all the way through to superintendents. I don't care what anyone says. When I see people having fun, enjoying themselves and having a laugh, smiles from ear to ear with every shot they take, doesn't matter whether they're taking, a foot-long divot, or they top the ball, or they hit an absolute screamer, which might be their best shot for their golfing career to date. I don't care what they do, as long as they're having fun. Our job as greenkeepers at the end of the day is to make sure that we can present the course as best as possible with what we have at our disposal. But we're also there to make sure that players return and that we keep the golf course repairing and recovering after play, week in, week out, day in, day out, year in, year out. That's our job. So we want you out there playing golf, because if you're not out there playing golf, we don't have a job. The essence of us doing our job is for you to enjoy golf. However you do that, that's the goal. And different clubs have different ideas on what that means to enjoy golf. But I'm here to tell you that as a greenkeeper, in my opinion, if you're out there and you happen to take a divot, it's not on purpose, it's part of playing the shot. If you're out there and you take a divot, you generally do the right thing, repair the divots, fix the holes, put a bit of sand down, whatever it might be. You're having fun. I don't care if you take a divot a foot long. I don't care if you don't take a divot. I care that you're having fun. So the short version was, it was just really, really good, and I had a smile on my face from ear to ear watching these women that are being introduced into the game having a smile from ear to ear. That was what I got a kick out of. So it really was great to see, and like I said, I shout out to Jess because I really appreciated taking the time out there to show me around and introduce me to what their network is and sort of the golf courses and the types of people that they have as members. They're out there playing golf and the way that they play golf and enjoy golf. Like I said, everyone has a different version of how they enjoy it, and seeing the women of Australian Women's Golf Network out there on the lakes the other day, enjoying golf however they choose to. As like I said, a lot of them were still learning the game, getting pointers and tips, and they were just having so much fun. I got a kick out of it watching them absolutely enjoy themselves. And it was so good to see. So a couple of points taken here. If you want to know more, get in touch with Australian Women's Golf Network. If that's your thing, if you're looking to get into the game of golf as women, it might be right up your alley. And a shout out to Jess Eden because she does a great job in organising it and running that golf network. So just something that I wanted to talk about because I'm really excited to hear more and more about how women are finding different ways to get into golf. And obviously, and a part of that, and I'll talk about another one in a minute, is also getting into the turf industry. But this is a great thing for golf and something a little bit different. So get out there, have a look at them on social media and the likes, even on LinkedIn if you're on there, and get in touch with Jess. She will certainly be able to fill you in. And hopefully it's something that you might want to be part of. And it's just a shout out from me to them because I think it's a wonderful thing, a wonderful golf network for women in Australia. Fantastic stuff to get out there and play some of the best courses in the country. Now I'm going to move on from that great bit of news. I'm going to move to the Australian Sports Turf Managers Association Conference, which was recently held down in Melbourne. So just a couple of weeks ago, actually just last week I think it was, I've been indisposed myself after I've had my surgery. I'm out of hospital and I'm getting back together. Everything's starting to regrow back together, so everything's good and I'm moving on. So I wanted to talk about some of these awards. So they have an annual conference we have for our industry, the turf industry. This year it was a dual event with the GMA. But the ASTMA Conference is one that we have every year, and so this year was a combined event. Now, on the Monday night, the first night of the event, they have a gala dinner with the annual awards being presented, and I'm just going to run through some of the awards in the golf side of the industry because it is Australian Sports Turf Managers Association, which covers also sports fields and the like as well, but I'm sticking to golf. So I want to let you know about golf because that's what I'm excited about. So we start off with the Golf Graduate of the Year. And that went to young John Christmas from Lakelands Country Club in Perth, WA. Now, I will say the WA get a little bit of a showing here on this one. So that's very good to see. So John is a new upcoming apprentice, obviously winning the award at the awards night. Fantastic to hear about these young people all over the country, often spread, it's not often confined to the East Coast or even to Victoria. So there's wonderful talented greenkeepers across the country all over the place. And this year the award goes to young John Christmas over there at Lakelands Country Club. So they must be doing something well over there at Lakelands, and a shout out to the team over there and all the great work they're doing and having a young bloke by the name of John coming up and winning the award at the gala dinner evening. So fantastic, and congratulations to both John and to Lakelands. Now, the award for excellence in golf course management went to Superintendent Lance Knox at Busselton Golf Club, again over in WA. Now, Busselton is a beautiful, beautiful regional township just south of Perth itself. It's actually, from memory, been there. It's got a very long jetty, like a kilometre, something insane. I remember we went out there when we were kids. We went to Perth and Busselton. I digress. We went fishing, caught lots of crabs. Anyway, lots of beautiful. We ended up. The ocean crabs over there were absolutely fantastic. So beautiful eating crabs they were, I remember. But Busselton's a lovely place. And Lance, I've been actually chatting with Lance prior to him winning this award. He got in touch with me, tell me he listens and he really enjoys the podcast. So shout out to Lance at Busselton, and a big congratulations again on winning the excellence in golf course management over there. So Lance is clearly doing something very, very well. If you've played Busselton or you've been there, you obviously know just what level the golf course is being presented at and what a great job Lance and the team have been doing. So fantastic to hear about Lance winning the award as a superintendent for excellence in golf course management. So that's great stuff to hear again in WA. Now, the Team of the Year award was an interesting one this year, and it's always good to hear where this goes to. This one this year was a joint winning award. So two teams won it. They won the gong together, and it went to both Meadowbrook Golf Club in Queensland, headed by Superintendent Luke Helm, and also Linwood Country Club here in Sydney, headed by Superintendent Nathan Ball. Now, I know Nathan and I know the team. I know a lot of the management out there at Linwood, and as you probably have seen me on social media, a big fan of Linwood Country Club and the golf course there to boot. And also, I've actually been up to Meadowbrook. I was up there earlier in the year, and I did meet Luke Helm briefly and said g'day to Luke. But this is on the back of the effort that those teams have done at both of those golf clubs, dealing with the floodwaters that they've had and just what the team has been able to achieve at both of those courses. So it's a joint award. incredibly adverse circumstances in which those two golf courses have been through in the last 12 months, and certainly for a longer period, as we know. But for those two teams and the two respective superintendents and those two clubs, it's a big deal. So congratulations to all of the people involved there on winning the Team of the Year award, and it's an absolutely sensational award to look. Obviously, they struggled splitting down between the two of them, and they gave it to both in the end. So fantastic stuff, and congratulations to everyone involved there. And there's two clubs that you'll see if you get out there and get a chance to play them in the near future. So great stuff to see. Now, the Sustainability and Environment Award, which is also better known as the Claude Crockford Award in our industry, it's just one of the most coveted and most esteemed awards in the greenkeeping industry and when it comes to golf courses. And look, I've just got to tell you, I'm so excited to tell you who won it. And you've probably heard me talk. Can you guess who it is? You might have an idea. I've been talking about them a lot, and a lot of the work they've done this year. Yes, the winners were Biodiversity Manager Menina Gilby and Superintendent Tim Warren and the Glenelg Golf Club team. And what a fantastic team, and those two individuals leading that team in regards to the sustainability and environmental side of things at Glenelg Golf Club, and certainly in our golf industry. These guys are a model for us all to look up to. And it's great to see them recognised for doing the amazing work that they've been up to there at Glenelg. And I've been talking about it a lot this year, over the past 12 months, and indeed before that. And I'm sure you know a lot of the details and stuff that they've been going through there at Glenelg, and fantastic. So really excited and happy for them to win. I think they are worthy recipients of the award, and the Claude Crockford is, like I've mentioned, one of the awards that's held in the highest of esteem in our industry. So great to see the team at Glenelg headed in this instance in the sustainability and environmental side by Menina Gilby and Tim Warren, Superintendent. It's great stuff, and congratulations to them for winning. Now I move over to Women in Turf strategy that was launched at the ASTMA Conference, and this is really exciting stuff. We've been probably, I suppose, acutely aware that our industry doesn't have a high percentage, or even a reasonable percentage, what some people might consider a reasonable percentage of women in our industry, and that's probably from many years gone by, back in the day when life was very, very different, society was very different, and women were seldom, if at all, ever seen with any opportunity to enter our industry in greenkeeping. And over the years, that's slightly changed, and we've seen the ones come and go here and there, very, very few. And in current times, I've interviewed Superintendent Jerry O'Callaghan down at Sandy Links, and we know about her. It's a great conversation I had with Jerry, and really enjoyed that one too. But there's still very, very few females in our industry. So the industry has gone down the path of launching this Women in Turf strategy. And it's about increasing the extremely low representation of women in our industry, like I just said. And they're looking to improve ways of attracting females to the turf industry, how we can support the females in the turf industry better, and how we can ensure that we retain the women in the turf industry, those that are in it and those that are coming. All great points, and something that I've already said this on so many of my posts in recent times, and something that I will say now on the podcast is it's time to stop flapping our gums about this as an industry and start making it happen. Great for this launch, great for it to happen, fanfare and a combined conference of the ASTMA, GMA, all good things, well publicised in the industry. It's time to make it happen. It's time to show that as an industry, we welcome, we want, and we support women in our industry. And I think now that this has happened, there's plenty of people out there. I know of some, and I for one was one myself. We had opportunities to. We had an apprentice female come on our team, but this is about just trying to work out those things, making better pathways, supporting women when they do it, and certainly trying to work out the best ways of retaining them. So it's a great launch. The industry is doing it as a whole, and great to see. And if I might say, how can we as an industry be whinging and whining about a labour shortage, yet at the same time, some of us are ostracising 50% of the workforce, i.e. women? I struggle to get my head around that. There's no reason why we can't have women and start looking to positively and outgoingly attract women to our industry. We need the labour. They're great at what they do. They can do everything as good as men can. Any other comments are ridiculous. And to anyone out there that says or even thinks that women can't work well in the turf industry in a modern world or can't do as good a job as us blokes can, I say this. You might as well pack up your shit and piss off out of the turf industry, because we don't want you and we don't need you. That's what I'm saying. So I'm all for this. I'm excited that it's out there. It's public. It's a big showing, a big talk, and they're talking up a big game. And let's just see that we can convert to make it happen. All good things for this Women in Turf strategy, and it's time to make it work. So great stuff, the very early stages, and I'm looking to see a great deal more. Now we move away from the conference. We go to, I'm going to start off in New South Wales. Start at Manly Golf Club, and they've been busy. This is what Walking the Fairways is also all about, talking about golf courses and who's doing what and getting better. So Manly Golf Club have been busy with new drainage going in on their 10th fairway. Old drainage has long since failed in some of the areas, and obviously this year's weather has certainly shown which areas have been pretty ordinary. And it's time now, after all the rain that showed just what areas are doing worse than others. New drainage will make a huge improvement on the 10th fairway over at Manly Golf Club. And Manly is very, look, it's built on, a lot of the land is reclaimed from an old once-time lagoon. As the golf course was built in its very early days, it's very close to the water table, has had lots of issues in the past, but been well managed and well improved to deal with some of those problems. And one of the areas on the 10th fairway that's reared its head up is this year with all the rain. So they've improved that and they've just got stuck into it. And that's what Manly do well. A very good golf club, a very good golf course, and they just knock things over as they come up and rear their heads, and they make them better. So good to see down there at Manly. Now I've got a shout out to Matt Milner, who got in touch with me, he's been part of the works, some of the new works that's happening at Linkshell Cove down there south of Wollongong, south of Sydney. And I thank Matt for his just getting in touch with me on social media and let me know some of the work that's been happening and that he's been part of. And that's been involving the rebuilding of a second green and its surrounds down there at Linkshell Cove. So a bit of new work happening down there at Shell Cove. They're always doing things. They've also done some new bunkers being built out on course, and there's a new driving range going in. They're doing all the works for the teeing area and things happening at the moment. So there's plenty of work going on. There's also a bit of drainage work around the place as well. If you know that golf course, you know that there's some water areas and it's low-lying again, sort of near the water table gets pretty high, all those sorts of things. This year's shown a lot of problems to a lot of areas that we haven't had to deal with in a long time. So they're improving those things along the way with all of these new works. So it's great to see. And Shell Cove, the Link Shell Cove, is always improving every time you get down there. If you haven't been down there recently, you'll know they've been doing some more work. So very good to see again down there on the south coast. Now we're going to go all the way up the far north coast of New South Wales, and I'm going to be honest and say that I've been very excited when I've heard this bit of news. It's a golf course that doesn't get talked about so much anymore. It's a course that back in the day, in the, I think it was in the 70s or so, it's probably about 50 odd years ago the golf course was built, if I'm not mistaken. It's Ocean Shores up there at the Brunswick Heads region. It's Ocean Shores, a great golf course, big golf course. It's a big space. It's a great course, great layout. And like I said, but the news that I've heard out of there is that they're making a move to improve and start to improve areas of the golf course, which is what got me excited. It's been a long time since I played Ocean Shores, but when I heard this, it was really great to hear. Now, the new work they're getting stuck into is improving their bunkers. And how much do we hear golf courses doing this at the moment? It's fantastic to see. And they're improving their bunkers with new bunker liner products going in. So removing all the old sand, pulling out all the drainage, restarting the drainage, redoing new fresh stuff, full bunker liner product going down to make sure that the drainage doesn't get infiltrated by anything that we don't, any unwanted materials, and slowly get blocked over time. So they're getting rid of all that, starting fresh, and then fresh brand new sand going down as well. So this is exciting stuff for Ocean Shores. If you haven't been there for a long time, you may not really know or remember a lot of this stuff, but it's so good to hear about. So they're starting on their first and second holes. New shapes, slight new shapes going into the bunkers. Like I said, new drainage, new sand. massive improvements, and these are a big investment. And these last few years with all this rain has really started to expose some of these shortcomings on golf courses. So we're looking forward to seeing these improvements. And look, there's no shying or skirting around it. Ocean Shores, like many regional clubs, shouldn't even isolate to regional clubs, even metro clubs. Like a lot of the smaller clubs and smaller courses out there, it's had a checkered past financially, which was rather obvious. Even when I played it, you could see a lot of the things starting to struggle around the golf course as well. And look, I played it probably now 6 years ago, I think it was, maybe even 7. So it has been a while. But back then I did see, but it's got great bones. That's what's so good about Ocean Shores. It's a Bruce Devlin design, like I said, from about 50 odd years ago. It's a little bit interesting. It's got 6 par 5, 6 par 4, 6 par 3s. Not something that you'll find or come across very often, and it is a big golf course in that regard because of that. So, good course to go and play, and they're improving. So I will be watching this one with great interest and great news coming from the north coast of New South Wales. Now we head down to Victoria. I'm going to go to a little favourite engine that I like to talk about, Woodend, and they're stepping up at Woodend Golf Club. They're stepping up the work with the help of their local volunteer, land care volunteer group, with the planting and rewilding projects starting to happen down there earlier this month, and it's seeing plenty of local endemic plant species going in, and certainly into the some of the selected areas of the golf course that they want to wild up and really put in some dense populations and starting to get this sort of the local plant species back onto the side of the golf course. So it's the beginning of a new page to turn there for Woodend, and great to see what's going on there in that regard. A little bit of the sustainability going on there on the golf course, and where these areas are out of play and the like that have been identified. It's great to see some of these plants going down, and we're starting to see good amounts, and it's the beginnings of local sort of environments happening on the golf course. We can start to get some of that fauna come back, local insect populations and that sort of thing coming back with the local plantings going on. So really good to see there at Woodend. Now, one that I haven't spoken of before is Trentham Golf Club down in Victoria, and it's about 20 minutes to the west of Woodend, which puts it at about an hour and 20 minutes or so northwest of Melbourne City itself. Now, in May, they started growing in their newly rebuilt first tee, and also the construction of a couple of new practice nets has been going on in recent times. So a little bit of work happening here at Trentham. Along with these new works, the 9th of June, which is only passed not so long ago, marks 12 months since they were hammered by a huge storm last year, which did plenty of damage around the golf course. Now, they've worked hard to recover from that storm damage of last year, and it's a great-looking golf course, and I've done a little bit of research into it myself. Like I've mentioned, I haven't talked about it before. I don't even know Trentham. Wasn't aware of it. I'm not huge on some of the regional golf courses down there in Victoria, certainly away from the northwest of Melbourne, up in towards the Ballarat, Bendigo region, and that's where Trentham is located. So here's a shout out to the golfers of Victoria. If you haven't already, it's time to organise a trip to Trentham Golf Club for a game soon. It really does look like a great country golf course, a great regional golf course. I've done a little bit of research, looking around as I love to do on Google Earth and Google Maps and satellite views, and it looks like a little cracker. So from me to you, get out there, put it on your map, and a shout out to Trentham. I'd love to certainly hear more from you guys as well. And anyone who gets a chance to go out there and play it or has played it in the last few years, maybe that's unfair because you haven't been able to travel anywhere in Victoria for a couple of years, so maybe even before then. If you know Trentham, give me a shout out on socials, send me a couple of photos because I'd love to share them. I'd love to see it myself as well. So that's a little bit of what's going on out there at Trentham with a new first tee and some practice nets. Now we're going to go to the western side of Port Phillip Bay down there in Victoria, and we're going to Queen's Cliff Golf Club, and that's located on Swan Island in Victoria. Like I mentioned there on the western side of Port Phillip Bay, it's actually not too far from Lonsdale Links. If you know the new course, it was redone by OCM there, and they are currently in the process of a new maintenance shed. So big upgrades going on at Queenscliff, and this is going to bring a new lease on life in terms of maintenance. So when you're operating out of a great brand new professionally built facility, it makes your life so much easier. It makes your life so much more efficient. You can get the job done better. It might sound a little bit weird, but if you try and work in an office and you've got a shitty desk and you're covered in garbage and you've got no papers and no filing system and nothing sorted and there's shit all over the place and pens and papers and printers and computers and all sorts of stuff covering your desk and you've got no plan because you've got no infrastructure, nothing to sort it out and work well, have a guess what happens. It all's pretty hard to do your work efficiently. So the same thing goes on with the maintenance shed. Queenscliff are investing, and it's great to see. So a big project going on there, and it is going to take a while. And just out of a note, I'm coming across just a couple of golf clubs that I'm starting to tally up in Australia that are on their very own island. We know of Hamilton Island Golf Club. It's located on Dent Island, which is up there in North Queensland. We know about, I've mentioned before, Nambucca Heads Island Golf Club, which is located on a sand island in the middle of the Nambucca River up on the north coast of New South Wales. And this is yet another one, Queenscliff Golf Club, on its own island, on Swan Island in Victoria. So really interesting, really unique, and it does look like another good golf course, and it has got great history. So if you get a chance, get to Queenscliff, but something that they're improving, big investment for the next 50-odd years, is a new maintenance facility. Now, another major announcement that's been put out is a major water infrastructure announcement by the Victorian government that $25 million will be allocated for the Dingley Recycled Water Scheme. That's going to include a 42-kilometre pipeline to provide recycled water to the Kingston Bayside and Monash communities. So these are the council areas that this great big pipeline of recycled water is going to be heading to, and it's going to provide 1,800 megalitres of water per year for green spaces, and that's going to include golf courses, both public and private will have access to it, parks, sports fields, nurseries, market gardens, and laundromats. Sounds great. This is a really good piece of water infrastructure and look, water security of sorts for all the golf courses that adorn the Melbourne Sandbelt. So great to hear, great to see. Love to see recycled water used out on turf surfaces, and it's a really big announcement that's happened down there in Victoria. So great, like I said, great stuff to hear about, and certainly I've heard that Huntingdale are one of the clubs that's it's already talked about having access to it, so they're really excited about it. And of course, they've got an announcement of hopefully a rebuilding of the golf course. They're looking to get put through potentially their membership. I'm not sure if it's been signed off yet. So Huntingdale's got a big future coming. That's one to see. But this water supply, this recycled water supply scheme, is going to be a big deal down there for that southeastern part down there in the Sandbelt of Melbourne. And look, I'm just going to say, with those little bits of details that have been announced, I'm just going to, before I start potentially poking holes in the announcement, I'm going to do some more of my own research, and I'm going to go in depth about a few things because I've got a few question marks myself, and I just want to answer them before I start yelling, because these are all good things to announce. But as we know, sometimes with government announcements and the lack of thought that goes behind some of these things, they just don't quite get it right. So I've got a couple of question marks in that you just heard me announce that I want to research a little bit more myself and potentially talk to some of the superintendents in the clubs down there on the Sandbelt and see what they know of. But it sounds great. I'm hoping it's going to follow through and be great. But I just want to do a little bit of research first, because the other thing about this recycled water is it just depends to what level the water is being recycled to, as in how clean they're recycling and cleaning up that water for use on sports fields and golf courses and all that sort of stuff. So you may not be aware, and a lot of the people that are golfers out there or greenkeepers here are not really sure on how recycled water works. There's many levels that it can be, it'll be cleaned up to, different classes they call it, and there's Class Bs and Class As and A pluses and all this sort of stuff. So there's a little bit that goes on, and depending on those levels, if it's not clean enough, if it's not good enough, it can create other issues in maintenance, other issues in management of turf. So it might sound great, might be fine for laundromats, but it might not be good for living things. at different levels. So there's all sorts of restrictions that can be put out on different grades of water and when they can be used and how they can be used, and that can then bring in all sorts of problems. So look, like I said, I don't want to be a downer on it. I hope it's fantastic. I just need to answer a few more of my own questions before I really talk it up. But it sounds great. Hopefully they'll follow through. Going to Tasmania, the island state. Going to just do a quick shout out to Lanherne Golf Club. And a shout out to Superintendent Tom North, who got in touch with me. Another guy who got in touch with me after being a listener of the podcast. And he's told me a bit about some of the work that's happening there that I would never have really understood or heard about if Tom hadn't got in touch with me personally. So it's great to see, and I appreciate the shout out. Now, Lanherne, for those that aren't aware, is a 9-hole golf course. It's next door to Royal Hobart of sorts on the other side of the Pine Forest, as Tom put it. It's right next to Hobart Airport. It's a 9-hole track, but it's a little bit unusual because, and this I liked, because when I looked at it on Google Earth, I couldn't follow it. I didn't understand it. But when Tom told me what it was all about, I was like, that's cool. And it really looked interesting, but once I understood what was going on from a satellite view, I worked it out as well with a little bit of Tom's help. And that is, it's a 9-hole golf course, but it has 18 different hole corridors. So it's got kind of 2 sets of tees on every hole, on every one of the 9 greens, but they're so much further apart than you would normally see 2 sets. It's not like one forward, one back, and that sort of stuff, or a couple, 10 meters apart. These are like 30 meters or 50 meters to the side of the other. There's a par 3 where they sort of, I think it's the second, they shoot the second or the third. It's the second. I think of it now on the top of my head. They shoot, one's from the far left-hand side of the golf green. The other one is almost 120 degrees to the right and a completely different angle. 90 degrees, 120 degrees, just like a totally different golf hole. So it's got more or less 18 hole corridors. Really interesting golf course. Now, what I wanted to talk about that Tom made me aware of is that they're currently preparing a temporary green which will be used in place of their 4th hole whilst it's being reconstructed, the whole 4th hole. Now, the 4th hole is a full water carry par 3. Now, the 4th suffers from being too wet for the majority of the year, as Tom lets me know, and because of the height of the turf surfaces, and that's a full water carry across a dam, it's at the lowest point of the golf course. Now, the turf surfaces are actually quite near to the level of the water table itself, and this is something that causes no end of problems. And obviously it does here at Lanherne, and it does in a lot of places, and a bit like what I mentioned at Manly Golf Club, where it's just that it's down low to where the resting water levels are for the surrounding areas and the water table itself. So it causes problems where it's a challenge in keeping the turf in good shape because the roots are nearly always constantly wet, and grass doesn't like that. That's the short version. Grass doesn't like it. So the new work will see all the areas of the hole rebuilt and raised in height, so they no longer are affected by the water table level, with the goal of making the turf surfaces consistent and to make the 4th consistent with the rest of the golf course. So a true consistent experience around the 9 holes, which is what they're after, and it's what Tom's after. Now, Tom tells me he's got a great volunteer group helping him out there on the golf course to maintain the course, and they've got an awesome membership there at Lanherne as well. So I'm just putting it out there. If you haven't been to Lanherne, it sounds like it's a very inviting community. And if you're traveling down to Tassie and you want a quick round, it's public access. So just get out there. It's next to the airport. You can literally walk there. I had a look at it on Google Earth again. You can probably walk there from the airport. It might take you 10 or 15 minutes, but you can walk there. So I think great things happening there at Lanherne, and thanks to Tom. Shout out to Tom for letting me know, and he's also got some more info to share with me soon, and I'll be able to bring that to you in the next Walking the Fairway. So stay tuned, but a shout out to Tom, to Lanherne Golf Club, and that's some of the work that's happening there if you know about the 9-hole track that is right next to Hobart Airport. And of course, it's not far from the new-to-be-built 7 Mile Beach, which is currently under construction. So you're going to have a great little area, like I mentioned when I was talking to Sean Bowden from Royal Hobart. You're going to have a great area to go there and travel to as a little golf destination. Fantastic to see. Now, go to South Australia. This is Walking the Fairways. We're going to Glenelg. I know they won the Claude Crockford, and they're just ripping shit-hot stuff happening out there at Glenelg. It is really, really cool to see. So go to Glenelg, and an interesting little detail is being built into the side of the new path of the 13th tee, and that is there's some upright sleeper. There's an upright sleeper retaining wall that's holding back the sand dune where the path is sort of cutting in there a little bit. And the sleepers have been infilled with zoysia grass. Now, this was quite interesting for me to have a look at. And it's clearly, I can tell you now, it's going to be a memorable experience for a path experience, no doubt. So it's a little bit unusual, something that will stand out, not something we see very much of in Australia. And I just thought I'd point it out. So I saw the news, I saw the photographs and some of the images about it. It's quite interesting, something a bit different. We know Glenelg are doing stacks of work as they move through their course improvement plan, and there's a lot going on there. Now, another point is that Glenelg have also recently received delivery of a new fairway mower, so that's going to continue. Glenelg's continuing to invest in their equipment along with massive investment in their golf course. It's going to make them and allow them to deliver the best turf surfaces they can, and these are the things that go on. So even if you're a small club, you need to make sure, keep in your budget, put in there and be prepared that you've got to maintain your fleet of machinery. You've always got to stay on top of it. So Glenelg, another fine example of what they're doing with their machinery, and great to see. And we're going to go up to Queensland. Going to go to Queensland for the final bit of state news about golf courses and golf improvements, and that's to Noosa Golf Club, and a shout out to Superintendent and former Keeper of the Greens guest, Mick Pascoe, and he's given me a little bit of information, and one that I do apologise that I didn't quite get out to in the last Walk in the Fairways, but nevertheless it's coming out because it's very important, and that is the new Par 3 12th hole opened about a month ago, which marks the first opening of the new work on the golf course as part of their course master plan prepared by Richard Chamberlain Design. And Richard's done some great work around the place over the years, and Noosa is his latest incarnation of work, and Mick Pascoe is the super looking after it and bringing it all out. So it's fantastic stuff that's going on there. Now, the new work includes the use of Sir Grange zoysia on the tees and surrounds of the redesigned hole, and it's one to follow up there. And if you get a chance to play Noosa, or you're thinking about it, I'd love to hear from you if and when you do play the new hole, because I want to hear your thoughts on the design and also how the zoysia plays. It's one that's got me intrigued. I've never played on it myself. More golf courses are using zoysia, and I'm intrigued to hear what your thoughts are. So great to see happening at Noosa after all the weather that they've had and all the sorts of things that have been going on up there in the Sunshine Coast over the last few months. They are finally getting some stuff open, and of the new works, it's finally grown into the point where it's in place. So very, very exciting, and well done to the team there, led by Mick Pascoe, superintendent. Now, they've also received delivery recently of a new hybrid greens mower. And when I say hybrid, it's very much what you're thinking like a car. It has a small petrol engine that runs an electric generator, and all the functions of the mower are run by little electric motors around the place. So it's very interesting. It's very different. Gone are the days that we're starting to see of hydraulic motors and hydraulic oil leaks and things that can go wrong. It's all electric. It's very, very quiet. Mick tells me that it's so quiet you can barely hear it from just a few meters away. So this is great for noise pollution. This is great for early morning cuts when guys are out there at 5 o'clock in the morning preparing for championship rounds, not upsetting neighbours and all the like. So this is the way that the golf industry is moving. There's even full electric machines out there that need recharging. What this means is that it's a bit like, I suppose, a diesel electric train engine. You probably see on the big long trains as you're heading out in the country and whatever. They don't need electricity or need to be recharged. They have an onboard engine, and that basically runs the electric motor, which runs what drives it. So it runs sort of separate but together. If that's probably as clear as mud, is it? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But the small petrol engine is something that doesn't need to be very loud to run the electric generator, which runs all the functions of the mower. So a very interesting thing and very good to see happening there at Noosa. So well done to the club itself. Now, Palmer Coolum Golf Club, the old Coolum Resort up on the Sunshine Coast, which is where we're still hanging around there, not too far from Noosa, have finally had a chance to start doing more of their bunker improvement projects again, I should say. The bunkers on the third hole have new bunker liner installed, and new sand is going in, and they're back in place. So more bunkers still to come as part of this work, and this is great to hear from Palmer Coolum. I think gone are the days where we've heard, that they were going backwards and dinosaurs and all sorts of weird stuff was going on. They're starting to turn, they're starting to move, and the place is improving. So very good to hear. We go to the Gold Coast to Emerald Lakes Golf Club, and they have started work improving their paths around the golf course. Now, Emerald Lakes was fully underwater like a number of other golf courses around the east coast of Australia during the floods that we had earlier this year. They went fully underwater, and they're starting to get back in the groove of improving their course where they see fit to do the work that they want to do and where it's required. So their paths is where they're starting. Some of the things they get, a lot of social players go there. It's opposite Metricon Stadium, Carrara, whatever you want to call it. It's just there, so it's easy to get to. A lot of people know where it is, and a lot of social players play it. A lot of very public access. It's got members as well, and but it's one of those golf courses it's well patronised by plenty of people up there on the Goldie, and it's good to see. So they're doing more work, which is great to see on their paths there around the golf course in improvements. Now, Gainsborough Greens on the Gold Coast. It's sort of out to the northwestern reaches, if you like, of the Gold Coast sort of suburbs. It's just in that in-between area between the Goldie and Brisbane. And they've recently received delivery of also a new hybrid greens mower. So Gainsborough Greens, it's doing its little bit there to invest in the golf course maintenance inside. These are the things that give you quality. That's what gives you quality, and your greens mod gives you quality of your greens. It's very important. So no doubt the course staff will be very, very happy to see a new piece of machinery in this shed, and this is a little improvement that some of the smaller clubs are able to do. I haven't seen Gainsborough, actually. It's one that I haven't got to, and look, anywhere that you get new gear is very, very good, and it means that your quality of your turf surfaces will continue to improve. That's the one thing that I do know. So good stuff happening at Gainsborough Greens, which gets a mention in Walking the Fairways. Now, there's a little bit of architecture news down the ACT. Ben Davey from Contour Golf, he's been for a visit recently to Yawani Golf Club. Now, Yawani's got a fantastic name there in Canberra, and they're looking at what works are looking to be done as part of the new golf course works there. That they're look, the DA is currently underway to be approved, and all things being equal, construction is set to begin next year. So Ben Davey from Contour Golf is the architect there at Yawani that's going to be part of the new redesigning of some of the areas around the golf course. I hope to get a little bit more information about that one for you, so stick with me. And look, I've got some more architecture news coming. I'll be doing some interviews with some of our Australian architects, and I'm looking to really expose some of the names in our industry in Australia. Certainly, the Australian architects as part of the Society of Australian Golf Course Architects. Something that I'll get out to you guys. So stick with me, and you'll certainly hear some more very, very soon. Now, on a bit of a tough note, course closure. So we heard about the Hills, which closed a number of months ago out there in sort of southwestern Brisbane's reaches, and one that we're going to add, and I was really disappointed when I heard this, and that is Arundel Hills Golf Club on the Gold Coast. It's packed up shop and gone home. They're out, vacant, gone, no one home. Very sad about this one I am, and it's one golf course that I really, really enjoyed playing. It was struggling. The last sort of 3, 4, 5 years, it's been pushing the proverbial, and to stay relevant, to stay open, to stay, I suppose, popular, patronised by people as well. They were slowly struggling with quality, and I'd heard lots of stories. I know a couple of people up in the Gold Coast who are members there, and I know that it's been tough for them. And look, on the 24th of May, or the 23rd of May, basically, I believe it was, they went into administration, and they swiftly, the administrators closed it on the 24th, and that's it. It was just closed straight away. They just said, this is where it's at. We're not even going to try and turn it around. We're just going to pack it up, and that's it. It's done. It's gone. Now, you might recall when I was chatting with, I'm pretty certain it was Mick Pascoe, Superintendent Mick from Noosa. In his early days, he did an apprenticeship at Arundel. And he was talking about the time when it had bent grass greens up there on the Gold Coast. Now, there's only one golf course on the Gold Coast that has bent greens, and that's the Glades. And but Arundel in its earlier years did. It's gone to Cooch. Look, and I was a huge fan of Arundel. I've got to be honest, a great golf course. There's some sensational golf holes there. There was. And the run from 14 to 18. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the 5 holes to run home were just spectacular. They were so much fun. They went up over a hill, around and down, and it was just awesome. And the 18th, what a par 5 to finish. just a monster sail off the hilltop all the way down, finishing right next to the entrance gates where you come in the driveway at Arundel. It just really was a great golf course. Very, very sad to see. And look, I'm just throwing it out there. If anyone wants to get a few people together who've got some coin, you want to put a business case together, I'll be the person to look after the golf course there and bring it back, because it's got sensational bones. It really is a quality golf course layout. Great challenge around there. A couple of little things like any golf course you could probably do better on. But look, I'd be happy to run the team to bring it back and make it bigger and better. I'm just throwing it out there. So there you go. But look, Arundel's gone. It's closed, sadly. Great history. It opened to much fanfare in its early days on the Gold Coast, and a lot of people remember it from its early days. Always sad when you think about it like that, and it's a struggle for quality. But geez, I tell you what, if anyone knows how to sort of bring back a golf course, and they can work out the business model that's going to work and make money, look, I'm sticking my hand up. That's a challenge that I want to take on. So there you go. I'm throwing it out there. But it's very, very sad to see that Arundel is gone, because that's a sad loss to the golf courses up on the Gold Coast. And I know there's plenty of people that still enjoyed playing Arundel when they would go and visit the Goldie. So very sad to see. And that's the Walking the Fairways, guys, for episode number 60. I hope to bring you some more of this, the Walking the Fairways with news. There's always plenty of news out there, which I'll keep bringing to you as I hear it coming. I'll always keep you excited and interested about what's going on. It's always good to be aware of who's moving, who's improving, who's getting better, and where you want to take your next game of golf to and where you want to go and visit. So that's what this is all about. I love keeping you excited, guys. Thank you very much for coming along for Walking the Fairways and keeping up with the current happenings. Always wanting to keep you informed and keep you excited. Now is where my opinion piece comes in. So I'm just letting you know that if you're not interested in my opinion, there's probably plenty of people out there who aren't. Now's the time to turn off, and I look forward to catching up with you on the next episode. But if you want to continue on, let's go and listen to what topic I want to talk about. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. It's finally here. I finally had half a chance, and I'm excited about it, right? I want to talk about Live Golf. Now, if you don't want to hear about it, now's the time to turn it off, because here it comes. I think Live Golf is interesting. I think it's something that I want to see more of. Don't know what your thoughts are, but I'm going to give you an idea of why I think it's good, why I think it's different, why I think it's interesting, and why I think people that are banging on about it, saying how terrible it is, are so far up themselves they can't see the light of day. And that's just my opinion. But we'll see if you agree with me. All of this, the reason I want to talk about it is because I want to start conversation with you guys. I want to hear your difference of opinion. I want to hear if you don't agree with me. It's not about whether I don't like you because you have a different opinion. I just want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your reasoning why. The problem I have is people are absolutely losing their shit about it and actually attacking people with a different point of view, which I don't understand why. So I'm all for everyone having their own opinions. It's fun discussion. Let's keep it that way, and let's attack it from that angle. Let everyone have a difference of opinion. That's fine. And if you agree with me, then I want to know why as well. So here goes, right? Live Golf is interesting. It's interesting because it's different. Now, me, and I for one, and I've talked about it before, the PGA Tour, over the last couple of years, I've tried to watch a little bit more than I've ever watched in the past. Sure, I've watched all the majors, and goodness knows that over in the States they've got 3 of them. They run independently of the PGA Tour, so we need to understand that. But they are played over in the States, which means they're played in a USA, United States style, their version of their version of golf. Every region around the world and every country usually has a different version of golf. Asia is different to Australia, which is different to New Zealand even, which is different to the subcontinent over in India and those sorts of regions. They're different to the Middle East. Lord, should I mention the Middle East in golf? Different to Europe, well and truly. And there's plenty of differences in Europe. The difference in the UK to what there is over in France, to what there is over in Sweden. Europe is different. Then you have the Americas, and North and South America are different. Canada is different. So there's lots of different regions. But the thing I find about the PGA Tour is that it's all the same. And I struggle with that. I don't watch much more than just the majors. So there's 4 majors, right? For those of you that aren't sure, in the men's world of golf, and I've got to remind myself to keep saying that we're talking about the men's world of golf because there's so much golf now that we can consume. So I'm talking about the men's golf. So when it comes to the men's PGA Tour in America, it's all the same. I've been trying to watch more. I can't. I tune out. I turn off. I get bored. I get over it. It's boring. It's shitless. Brainless. It's single-dimensional. And I get over it. If you watch 1 or 2 a year, it's great. But I can't watch it every week. It does my head in. It's terrible. That's what I think. So now that I've bashed what's wrong with the PGA Tour, that's basically what is good about LIV, in a sense. Now, the majors are great, like I talked about. And you add in the Open Championship in the UK. I want to see more of the UK. DP World Tour, whoever they're sponsoring it these days. I think that the PGA Tour is single-dimensional golf. Don't like it or get over it. For the majors, it's fine. But for everything else, I'm bored. Except for the players. And that's the main reason why we probably watch more of the PGA Tour than we should. It's because they hold most of the best players. We know that the PGA Tour has the majority of the best players in the world because all the other events in terms of like the Ryder Cup, the President's Cup, it's always the US versus somebody else. And you only got to look at the numbers and you can see who has most of the best players in the world. It's the US. That's just how it is. So what's wrong with the PGA Tour and what's good about LIV? That's essentially the argument. So people forget. Everyone's got short memories. Generations that don't look into history too much either. I can only speak from my opinion and what I've seen, what I've experienced, or what I know, what I've researched, to give my opinion. So, wraparound tour. The PGA Tour became a wraparound tour, a full year calendar. It just non-stop. It just keeps going and going, and then all of a sudden it starts again. It keeps going and going. You're just like, my God, there's no end. Because the PGA Tour became so greedy, they are the definition of greed, mind you. Forget what people are talking about LIV for the moment. Let's just think about what the PGA Tour, they were the epitome of greed in golf. They invented the wraparound tour. They created a tour that was non-stop for their fans. Why wouldn't you do it? Fans want more, give them more. Makes sense, right? But to that end was a detriment to other parts of the world. Now, I can only talk about us here in Australia. I don't live in Europe. Clearly, I only care about Australia. It's pretty obvious. And as a golf fan, we started to lose a long time ago, I might add. We started to lose a lot of Australia's best players. We lost them to the PGA Tour. Now, the PGA Tour might say that they gained them. But as an Australian golf fan, we lost them. What do I mean by that? Because the tour offered so much money, the PGA Tour offered so much money in the men's side of the game. Everyone wanted, if you're down here in Australia, the Australasian tour, you're bouncing around here playing for, prize pools of, $500,000. That sort of, like the winning pool wasn't even near $1 million that long ago, let alone the winner taking home $1 million. So the issue is, if you were the best in our tour and you got a chance to get your start on the PGA Tour, you went to the PGA Tour. And then, because there was so much money on offer to play all the time throughout the year, how difficult is it to give up the opportunity to play for that much money to finally start to pay back your way that you've spent so much money in your life? You've got to start earning it back, right? Why would you give that up? You're playing for $1 million for the win. You're playing for, a win for 500,000. Down here is only 150K. If you win over there, it's 500. You're playing for it every week. That's a big deal. So when our summer comes back here in Australia, what, you're going to pack up shop in the States and fly home to play for 150K? All the way down here? Yeah, sure, you'll see family and friends. but you miss out on what the chances are to play for over there on the PGA Tour. So we would not see our best golfers once they got their start on the PGA Tour. It was very, very hard for them to give up the opportunity to play for that much money to come home and play for Nicks just for a trophy, just for our Stonehaven Cup for the Men's Australian Open. Very hard. So we started to not see them here anymore. You would go to our flagship men's events, the Australian Open, the Australian PGA, the Australian Masters when it was on, and you might not see your best golfers that we've brought through our country. We would hope, fingers crossed, Adam Scott might come home. Fingers crossed, Jason Day might come home. Fingers crossed, back in the day it might have been Robert Allenby might come home. That was what we wanted. And it didn't happen very often. So we lost them to the money that was on offer of the PGA Tour. People forget. People over in America, I'm sure they wouldn't even know about our tour. But we lost them. We didn't see them come home because they were playing for 10 points to them for playing for the cash, by the way. Can't begrudge anyone for that. Jeez. And then we would start to see them at the back end of their careers a little bit more comfortable potentially. They'd take the chance to come home and have a break and play in a couple of events down here at home. That was their break, in a sense. Now, I'm far from a pro. I don't know any of the guys on the tour and the top end. They might disagree with me altogether there, but that's how it felt as a fan. That's how it felt as a spectator. So we lost them to the PGA Tour. So I hear everyone talking about Liv's offering too much money, Liv's doing this, Liv's doing that. That's what the PGA Tour did to us here in Australia. Because of the wraparound tour, the wraparound calendar that was on offer with so much money to play for, it destroyed our tour. It destroyed the people that we had that were the best in the world. There was no reason to come home. There was no gap in the calendar to come home anymore. Too much money on offer. Going to stay over there and play. 10 points. Can't argue with that. That's how you guys make a living. You got to go where you can earn the cash, right? So that's what happened. So when I hear people talk about Liv's offering too much money, I just think to myself, guys, you did it yourselves to all the other smaller tours. It's just that someone is doing the PGA to the PGA. Someone's doing to, it's like IPL, what IPL did for one-day cricket. That's how I'm viewing this Live Golf thing. It started out that IPL in cricket, if you know cricket, the Indian Premier League in cricket, was this 6-week window when it first started. Indian people, business people, lots of cash, throwing massive amounts of cash out to some of the players and the Australian cricketers. And they said that we're going to go and play there. Everyone was like, oh, what do you mean? You're going to play for your country. And they're like, kidding, right? You're getting like $1 million for 6 weeks' work? I'm going to India. It's just letting you know. I'm going there and I'm going to play for 6 weeks. I won't be available to play in Australia or anywhere you're going to be because I'm taking $1 million. Just saying, $1 million, 6 weeks. Thanks. And I'll be back later. The IPL created a window. As that tournament got bigger, then all of a sudden other tournaments spawned around the world in cricket. But they forced a window. They forced a window in. And I think Liv is doing something similar. Now, I haven't gone into all the details of Liv, and I've just been didn't want to talk about it until I could see what was going on, right? But that's how I view Liv. It's a little bit like the IPL world. Liv are also, this is what I wanted to talk about. So Liv are going to take events out of America. The idea is it's going to be a little bit more of a worldly tour. A worldly tour. So it's no longer the idea of to be the best golfer in the world, you have to beat the best golfers in the world. It's now, if you want to be the best golfer in the world, you have to be the best golfer across the world. Because like I said, US golf, single dimensional. You start taking tournaments with some of the best players in the world, and they're competing against each other. Sure, it's a different format. Still the person with the least strokes wins, by the way. You start taking it around the world, we're seeing different golf. Because different regions had different golf. I think it's Thailand, one of them. They've already done London in the UK. And this is all part of the same tour. It's not like the PGA Tour are letting other people go to play the British Open. The London event is part of the season. Okay? When they go to Thailand later in the year, it's part of the season. I'm pretty sure it's Thailand. These are good things. So they're taking it out of the US. Norman has talked about this, that this has been his idea for 30 years. It's no accident. I've heard plenty of other commentators and golf commentators and writers and experts talk about, and even some of them have said, Norman's, he's just flapping around in the breeze. One day he'll turn around and go, oh, this is what we're doing today. I don't think for a minute that any of this has been by accident, by chance. None of this is left to chance. I'm not the biggest fan of Greg Norman in the world, but I'm coming to like more of this live stuff than I thought I would, to be fair. I didn't know how it would work, but the more I'm seeing, the more I like. Norman's very smart. It's very, very cluey people around him, knows what he wants, and he'll get the right people in so he can get it. Very, very smart in that regard. None of these, this has been an extremely tactical move every single step of the way. Do you think for a moment that Greg Norman didn't know who he was going to get involved with Liv? Do you think for a minute when he signed Phil and Phil shot his mouth off, whatever, Phil Mickelson that is, do you think the PGA Tour started cracking the shits deluxe, this is rubbish and blah, 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 and you and your blood money and Liv and blah, blah, Saudi money and all this sort of stuff? Just bad-mouthing Liv. Just smash it. If we smash it so hard, everyone will follow. Do you think for a minute that Norman would have really got the announcements out and started talking about the events, what was going to happen, if he didn't already have a whole lot of people pretty close, or if not already signed, and said, well, this is how we're going to stage out who's signed, we'll put you out there. It's very tactical. That's how Norman plays the game. Norman only plays one way. He plays the long game. What is the saying? It's chess, not checkers. Like if you're not playing the long game against Norman, you're going to lose. You're going to lose out big time. You've already lost. That's how he plays the game. He's been very tactical about everything all along the way. 30 years. He's been working on this World Golf Tour, live thing, whatever you want to call it. Just had to wait for the right time, the people with the right money, so that he could drive it and make it work the way he wanted. And talk about all the, grudges and whatever it is he's holding against the PGA. It doesn't matter. This was always coming. Always coming. Now, a few things about live that I like. Shotgun start. It's cool. It's different. It's interesting. It's so fast. As soon as they tee off, there's shit happening everywhere. I watched the London one. I thought it was really good. A few things they can do better and they'll improve with. Remember, this is the first one out of the box. It doesn't have 4 rounds. It's only got 3 rounds. 54 holes. That's different, right? Teams. It's different, right? You know what I thought was good about the 3 rounds of golf? They only play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if you're a golf fan, they didn't go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if you're a golf fan, like I am, just a huge sport fan in general, what does that mean? That means that I can watch Live and watch the other PGA Tour events at the same time. But on Sunday, Live's over. On Sunday, I can kick back and I can watch the final round of the PGA Tour. Very smart, in my opinion. Very smart. As a fan, I'm not competing with one or the other. Watch Live, watch it finish, concluded, gone. Saturday night's over. Sunday, I can kick back and watch the final stages of whatever other golf I want, PGA Tour, whatever, European Tour. Perfect. It probably leads me into a little bit for all the golf commentators out there, the so-called smart people in understanding golf, the experts out there that have been doing it for 30 years, commentating. You guys all misread the room. Totally misread the room. And I'm telling you right now. Because from the moment this thing came out, everyone was saying how bad it was, blood money this, blood money that, Saudi this, Saudi that, Norman this, Norman that. If you badmouth it bad enough, the status quo will remain and it'll disappear. But Jesus Christ, I tell you what, how fast did the fans jump on board Live? And the reason I say all you experts misread the room is because we just want more golf. That's what you underestimated. And the other reason everyone, including all the experts and the people who run the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour, misread the room, didn't know what you were up against, is because you're all stupid enough to think that they were direct competition, and you're still carrying that narrative. It's not. That's where you're stuffed up. It's complementary. Now, you can say, Norman can say it's growing the game. You can say he's not growing the game. It's all rubbish. It's bullshit. Whatever, right? But where you misread the room is it's complementary. Like I said before, no final rounds on Sunday. I can watch Live and I can watch PGA Tour. I can watch Live and I can watch the European Tour, DP World, whatever it's called. I can watch the others that I've watched all the time in the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour, and I can watch Live. So you've got the long version of the game, PGA Tour, 4 rounds, European Tour, 4 rounds, whatever it's bloody called, DP World, 4 rounds. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a cut, whatever. People piss off. You're not good enough. We'll halve the field, get down. You guys challenge it out for the rest, duke it out for the final one to see who wins. Great. For 5-hour windows in each of those Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, when Live's on, I can watch 4 hours of golf. Bang, punch it out. Formula One, fast, smash, gone. See who the winner is, and I'm out. Thanks. Go back to PGA Tour. How's it going? Oh, yeah. He's still in the lead. A couple of guys are close. Final rounds tomorrow. Looks like I'll just kick back on the lounge and watch it. How good's that day going to be? What a weekend of golf I've had. That's where you misread the room. Totally misread the room. You didn't read it from a fan's point of view. So-called experts, no clue. Might be experts at golf, specifically at golf, but when it comes to the product for the fans, no idea. Just throwing it out there. Now there's the PGL, which is the Premier Golf League. It's another concept. So Live, don't forget, is teams as well. Heard people bagging it out. Saying, bloody teams, what's that got to do in golf, blah, blah, blah. Bagging it everything. PGL's been sort of rumbling in the background, trying to get going, thought about getting going, haven't got going yet. Live got out first. Everyone's bad-mouthing Live for every single point of Live that there is. In the Live Golf format, teams format, singles format, 3 rounds, 54 holes, shotgun start. It's all crap. It's rubbish. Good luck. You'll be gone before you know it. PGL, 3 rounds, 54 holes, shotgun start, teams events, singles events, lots of money on offer. PGL sounds really interesting, guys. What are your thoughts on the PGL? I think it could be good. Hang on. What? Did you just say that the PGL could be good but Live shit? Seriously? Yeah, for anyone listening, go and have a look at the PGL, Premier Golf League. Read the details. Read what the information about it all. It's nearly exactly the same as Live. Now, whichever come out first doesn't matter. It's which one's running on the ground now, and that's Live. It's exactly the same. The same arguments that these golf expert commentators are saying. You know, they're saying, oh, yeah, they can't compete in the PGA Tour because they're breaching the contract terms, and they'll be, reprimanded, and they'll be kicked off for Tour Doug and all this sort of stuff, right? Expelled from the Tour, expelled from DP World Tour. You can't do this, you can't come home, you can't come back. But PGL, on their website, says the same questions. Will players in the PGL still be able to compete on the PGA Tour? We believe so. Our legal wording and our legal representation we define it to be, that they'll still be able to compete, no problems. But if they go on Live, they get expelled. But if they go on PGL's saying that it's fine. Same concept. Just saying. There's a little bit more in the background here, people. Live and PGL are the same. But everyone's saying that PGL's different. It's not the same as Live. I'm yet to be shown how it's not different to Live. Now, the good thing I like about Live and the 54-hole shotgun start, it's a shorter time, like I mentioned before, shorter time on television. You know what that does? Shorter time to produce. Think of it from a practicality perspective. Think of it from logistics. Lots of cameras, whatever out there. It's only 4 or 5 hours, it's only realistically 5 hours of golf, all in one go, 18 holes, bang, full, boom. It's done. You think about a PGA Tour event. as we know it, 4 rounds of 18 holes, 72 holes, 4 days. You're watching golf from sun up to sundown. That takes a long time to produce, a lot of commentary. But a shotgun start produces so much content in such a short space of time, you're basically knocking down the cost of production. Deluxe. You still get all the replays. Content coming out of your ears. Half the time to create it all. Half the time to record it all. You're not paying everyone to be there all day. Cameramen, commentators. Everything is less. Kind of smart, right? It's different. It's kind of smart. Another point was, like I said before, to be the best player in the world, you have to be the best player across the world. I think that's going to be an interesting thought. I've always said that different parts of the world have a different version of golf. And I think the LIV will prove to be a better... It's not about the competition specifically and only. It's about the competition and where golf is being played. Big difference. And you know how much I love to travel around Australia when I talk about golf courses and all the different experiences in those golf courses. And you can say the same about America and the PGA Tour, but it's not the same as the rest of the world. That's greatly different. And then the courses are set up slightly differently as well. So the other thing about it is, players, in my opinion, all the players in LIV that have been expelled from the PGA Tour and now the DP World Tour will not be expelled from the majors. They'll still be able to play all the majors. The majors will not have a choice but to include them. Can you imagine a US Open with half of the leading players effectively not going from now on? Can't imagine the USGA saying, half of you guys, we don't want you. Waters down the product. What are they selling? They're selling half a product? All the big names? Not happening. You will not see the majors expel any LIV players. Just telling you now. So mark it down. It's not going to happen. They will still be allowed to play. PGA Tour and DP World Tour have shot themselves in the foot. They're idiots. Absolute idiots. Misread the room. It's complimentary. Why would you exclude people, stars, personalities from your tour? You expel those people, you water down your product. That's my opinion, and I'm far from an expert, but if you've excluded some of the biggest personalities and most watched players from playing in your tour, what are you doing to the fans and then the people that follow them? You're excluding them as well. Kind of goes hand in hand, just saying. The good thing about LIV and the smart thing about LIV, in my opinion, and you might not have realised this, LIV are choosing personalities. They're not saying we want the top 50 players in the official World Golf Rankings in the men's department. They're not saying that we want that. It's pretty obvious. But everyone's saying, oh, you're only getting, a handful of people or, 15 or 20 people in the top 50 or whatever it is, right? They're smarter than that. I'll tell you how they're smarter. Because they're selecting personalities on top of where their world ranking is. They're selecting heroes and villains is what they're doing. Because fans love to follow personalities. Think of the Bryson. I'm not a Bryson fan, but holy shit doesn't he have a following. Why would you not pick him in your bloody tournaments, in your competition? Bryson, how much you want? You got too many people that follow you that like you. They want to know everything you're doing all the time. I want their eyeballs. How much money would you like, mate? Sure. No worries. Here you go. Bryson, so good to have you on board. That's how the conversation went. They're not idiots. Norman's no fool. The only people who are fools are the ones that think Norman is. Like I said, I'm not his greatest fan, but ironically, here I am talking him up. DJ, again, got a massive following. Not so sure JT's got a massive following. As much as Bryson. Sure, he might be a better player in the world rankings. Like I said, I'm not a Bryson fan, but as soon as you take him out of the PGA Tour, put him on LIV, I'm interested to see how it's going to go. It's personalities, people. It's heroes and villains. Why do you think they picked Patrick Reed? He's a villain. Every story has to have heroes and villains. We want to follow them. That's what Liv are creating. Something to watch other than golf. There's so much more to create. That's what they're doing. They're also grabbing different stages of playing careers. So they've got people at the very beginnings. They've just picked some of the best amateurs in the world, people at the very beginnings of their careers. They've got people in the middle of their careers. They've got people at the end of their careers. You've got the Phil Mickelsons and the DJs. You know, you've got the Brysons. You've got these young amateurs, and I can't think of their names. Like I said to you, I've only been trying to know enough knowledge. I don't need to know everything to give you my opinions. This is what they're doing. This is why it's going to work. I'm almost certain, like I said, the analogy of the IPL, I think that's pretty close to true. They did, when Kerry Packer did one-day cricket on cricket. Yeah, sure, they were going from amateurs that weren't being paid to play for the country in Australia and cricket in the world to being paid excessively or a lot back then for one-day cricket. What they've done is they've taken people who are being paid a lot now and being paid stupid amounts. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. That's what they've done. I've got no doubt gambling is going to be involved. Why do you want sponsorship from gambling? It sponsors every other bloody sport, certainly in Australia. And if you can do it, why wouldn't you get involved in that marketplace? Now, I actually don't like gambling myself. I really hate it. Something that most people don't know. I actually don't like gambling. I just think it's... Anyway, each to their own, but I don't begrudge anyone who does, and there's plenty of people that do. I don't, but as if you wouldn't chase that cash. And with teams... It's a no-brainer. Gambling will be involved in terms of sponsorship with Liv. I've got no doubts about it. I could be wrong, but I reckon they will. There's going to be relegation. There's going to be different levels of tour. They got the Asian Tour. They own the Asian Tour more or less. So there'll be relegation with players and people with teams. It's like the Corn Ferry and the PGA Tour. You're going to see that on Liv. That'll just come to fruition. It will come. Norman's going to bring Liv to Australia. There's talk that he was going to go to Melbourne first. Now there's talk he's going to go to Sydney. He will bring it to Australia. And the reason why he'll bring it to Australia is because he sold up and packed up from the States a few years ago now, famously talked about he's moving back to Queensland, back to his home state. He's going to buy some, he will buy some massive place in the Sunshine Coast or something. That's where he loves. That's, his home's up there. He's going to be the shining, the knight in shining armour to bring Liv to Australia. It's going to happen, people. Don't think it won't. It will happen. My guess is it's going to be in Queensland. I could be wrong. How much of a hero is he going to be to Palaszczuk up there in the Queensland government to bring Liv to Australia? It's going to be in Queensland. That's his home state. He's going to do it for his people. That's what's going to happen. That's how Norman works. Now, I understand the Sydney market's the place that the rumours are that it's going to be brought to. If it is, the only place that I can think of that he has an association with in the past is New South Wales Golf Club. Incredible for television. It's like Cypress Point. If anyone knows anywhere else around the world you're listening, it's Cypress Point. Alistair Mackenzie did it in its early days, did the design for New South Wales Golf Club, famously talked about the only place that's potentially better than Cypress Point. So if that gives you an idea, imagine that on television. I only played the Australian Open there once because it's pretty ordinary to get to for spectators. Liv could probably do that and probably do it quite well. But I still think it's going to Queensland. Not sure where. Possibly the Grand would be my guess. I can only think of the Grand. It's held the Australian Open once before. Norman Design. Anywhere Norman comes to Australia, he's going to do it where he has an association. He's not going to do it where another architect or anyone else has got an association. It's not going to be in Victoria. That's the best golf courses in the country. It's a bit like the London event, the first Liv event. It wasn't in Scotland. It wasn't in the home of golf or anything like that. It was in a golf course we didn't even know about. If he comes home to Australia, it's going to be on a Norman golf course or an association that he's had. He's done some redesign work with New South Wales in the past, in Sydney. If it comes there, spectacular for television. I think it'll be in Queensland. I'm picking the Grand. That's the only place I can think of. Norman Association, and it can host a big event. That's what I'm calling for. Now, another quick little tidbit. I reckon now we know Brooks has signed, Abraham Answer, I've got a couple of signs. I reckon Sung Jae Im could be a chance to sign in. I reckon Ricky Fowler's almost a given. He's a personality. I love to see different people sign up. So these are all good things. Now, let's not beat around the bush. These guys are playing for money. Money. It's not for cars. It's not for houses or boats or more Dan Murphy's vouchers. They're playing for shitloads of cash. And like I said earlier, that's exactly what the PGA Tour has always offered and why they've got the shits because the PGA Tour are being outmoneyed by somebody else. But wait, hang on. What's that? All of a sudden, there's some new events the PGA Tour are offering. What? Jay Monahan's come out and said that as much as he hates LIV, they're going to have 5 new tour events next year with no cut. Sounds like LIV. $20 million? $25 million prize purse? It's the same as LIV. The winner's going to take, $4 mil? That's the same as LIV. Well, would you look at that? Shit, eh? Where did all that money come from? Poof. Out of thin air. Just like that, Jay. Wow. You really don't like LIV, do you? Just so happened to copy them. Didn't beat them. Nearly copied them. Word for word. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. They're playing for money, guys. And don't carry on. I don't want to hear any of you... I'll skip that word. Any of you people out there saying that, it's all about the tour, man. It's all about the heritage and the history and what, Palmer and Nicklaus and all those guys, played for and competed for back in the day. Don't give me that crap. It's about money. Now, if it was me being offered $1 million per year for my podcast, I hate to break it to you guys, but there's going to be ads for whatever company is paying me and I'm signing up right now. It's just how it works. I'll tell you what, I'll even put their name, their business name, on my 1982 SS Commodore. I'll put it right down the side across the doors. Shit, I'll even learn Arabic. Don't care. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. An interesting one was Carrie Webb. Her comments that she made about, a small piece of her died after she saw that Greg Norman's headed up LIV and all the things he's come out to say and all this sort of stuff. Unfortunately, Carrie Webb's comments don't stack up. I've got a lot of respect for Carrie Webb. A lot of respect for all these people that I'm talking about here. But Carrie's missed it. She's missed it. Her comments don't stand up. Because she said all that, and she doesn't like what Saudi Arabia are doing and where the money's coming from as part of the public investment fund and all that. And I totally understand that. Don't get me wrong. If we're going to go on the political side of life, some of the stuff that's going on over there, or all the stuff, the atrocities and human rights, you want to go political side of stuff, it's horrendous. And there's a lot of other countries in the Middle East that do it all. Those atrocities are horrendous. They are. It's hard to look away from. Hard to look away from any of those Middle Eastern countries, and that they are very similar. They're very, very different to the Western world. It's hard to get your head around. But Carrie came out and said that because we know that the Ladies European Tour have events over there in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia, the Aramco series. I watched it on television. I watched some of our rising female stars play there, which I thought, well, hang on, that's a bit odd. Carrie Webb's banging on about the money coming from the Public Investment Fund, Saudi Arabia. That's who's putting up the money for the LET events that are being played over there. But Carrie said that everything that LIV stands for is horrible and terrible because of where the money's coming from. But she also said that she understands if you're a young up-and-coming female sports star, golfer, who hasn't got any money in the account and is just starting their career off, they've got to go and chase the dollars. And if the dollars are on offer over there in Saudi Arabia and it's backed by Aramco, which is backed by the Public Investment Fund of the Saudi Arabian government, if you like, the regime, that's okay. That's okay to compete for that money. But no one can compete for the other money. That's not okay. I don't follow. Maybe I don't get it because I'm not a player or a rising star. Maybe I don't get it because I'm not... I get it. Maybe it's because I'm not a female. Understandable. But I don't really follow. You can say that it's okay to play for that money because you don't have any, but the guys who have it can't play for it. Like, it's moral grounds. It's very grey, very hard to take the stand. Very, very hard to take that stance. I'm not saying it's easy, but I am going to call out that it's something that I really struggle to get my head around. So I'm not sure. Interesting point, though. Have you noticed that the deafening silence from all of the golf equipment manufacturers? Haven't heard one of them say a single word. All but crickets. Interesting. I'll leave that thought with you. Not one of them. Very interesting. Anyway. But like I said before, I'm a huge sports fan. Sports lover. Watch so many different sports. And I love it all. Yes, I love the curling too. Jesus, I've been known to even watch some extreme ironing. And yes, Google it because it is real. At least it was when I watched it. The good thing about Live is that, like I said, personalities, Bryson's long drives, they're promoting. It looks fun. It's great. It's interesting. All this stuff about this, it just looks like it's a really fun event and tour and things and fun and people are smiling and happy. It's great. Now I'll go over to the weird stuff. Stuff no one wants to talk about. Sports washing. You've probably heard the term sports washing. I hear people talk about sports washing. I'm like, shit, what's sports washing? I'm far from a highly educated human. I just look after grass all my life. Sports washing. You've heard people say it. What's sports washing? Dunno. Gonna Google that shit. You ready? If you don't know, like me, here you go. Sports washing on Google. Google search, wiki. And some, Cambridge or, I don't know, what are the other dictionaries? One of them. I got it from one of them. Anyway, sports washing defined as the practice of an individual, group, corporation or government using sport to improve their tarnished reputation through hosting a sporting event, the purchase or sponsorship of sporting teams, or by participation in the sport itself. Okay, that's sure. That makes sense. I get that. Yeah, okay. Now I know what sports washing is. Then I looked, there's examples, so I just kept going and looking through the examples. Some examples are Russia hosting the 2018 FIFA World Cup. I'm not a soccer fan. I didn't watch it, but I knew about it. 2022 Winter Olympics held in China. Shit, eh? Who knew? That was an example of sports washing. I love the Olympics. I watch them all. Corporate examples. Qatar Airways, again, Middle Eastern owned airline. They sponsor soccer teams in Europe. That's an example of corporate sports washing. Gulf Air is owned by the Kingdom of Bahrain, and they sponsor the Chelsea Football Club. Saudi Arabia and they own Aramco, which sponsors the LET golf events that I just mentioned before. And they also sponsor the Aston Martin Formula One team. I love my F1. I watch a lot of F1. Saudi Arabia even hosts a Formula One event. That's all considered sports washing. I watched it, didn't even know. I remember when they built the Bahrain track. Didn't even know. That's sports washing. Watched the Saudi Arabian track. Didn't even know. That's sports washing, people. Here I am enjoying sport. I had no idea. No idea. Now there's a lot of this type of stuff in F1. Had no idea. Look, the list is enormous. And if I'm being honest, this highbrow moral stance is easy for people like me and many sports lovers to not even notice. I don't read into this stuff. I just love sport. I just watch sport. Had no idea it's sports washing. Do I feel bad about it? I didn't even know. I don't like the stuff that they do over there. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. In their regime and their different ways that they run their society, it's not the Western way of life. I don't like some of the stuff that I hear, but the news does glorify all that sort of stuff. But I didn't know about sports washing. Didn't know that's why they put an F1 race there. We'll build a track. You guys can come over, race here. We'll sponsor some teams. Everyone can race. Lewis Hamilton can win. Fanfare. Hi, everyone loves it. We're on TV all over the world. Okay, bye, next. Didn't know that was sports washing. I just like watching it all. I'm sorry. I'm sure that's exactly why they do it. Because we don't know. What does all this mean about following sport? Shit, all I can say is that there'll be a lot less sport I'll be watching if I take the moral stand on it all. Here's the example. I won't even be able to go to the SCG, Sydney Cricket Ground, and watch the Sydney Swans that I'm a member of. We go, the wife, family, take Savannah, we go and watch the games. I won't even be able to go there and watch the Swans live because Qatar Airways are a ground sponsor. That's what it comes down to. That's all sports washing, apparently. Sorry, I'm still going to go. I'm sorry. I like my sport. I'm still going to go. So then is it dependent the teams and the sport to not take that sponsorship money more so than on me to not attend the sports that I love? Where does the onus fall? Everyone's saying that we should switch off. We shouldn't watch Live because that's where the money's coming from. We should switch off. We shouldn't watch Formula One. Don't follow the Aston Martin team because that's backed by the Aramco. It's done by Saudis. Apparently you shouldn't. Shouldn't do it. Apparently. And in case you're wondering about the moral stance from the newly established European Tour, or the newly named European Tour, which is now called DP World Tour, did you know this one? Wait for it. Hang on a minute. DP World is a logistics company from Dubai. Sports washing? So European Tour. Is that sports washing being sponsored by a business from the Middle East? So the European Tour has given naming rights to a sponsor, DP World, which is a company from the Middle East, which is just the same as I mentioned, Gulf Air, Qatar Airways. I'm struggling here a bit, people. You can see why I'm struggling. Really struggling. The new PGA Tour, for a shitload of cash, their events look to include an event in the United Arab Emirates. It's next door to Saudi Arabia. Is that sports washing? Where's the line? Where are the experts? Can you tell me where the line is, please? Can someone phone in? Tell me where the line is? This is why I'm struggling with these arguments. All the golf experts in the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour have all misread the room. You've got it all wrong. You've excluded the very people that you need to have in your tour to get your fans. Live is complementary. It's not the enemy. You've misread the room. They could be playing both tours. They probably would have played both tours. Imagine how good it would have been. And I'm just going to throw something out there. I'm not sure, but what would happen if Liv did the same with women golfers, the women pros? What if the women were able to earn this much money? What if some of the best female golfers in the world were able to compete for this much cash? What would we be saying about that? I'm just going to throw it out there. It's coming. That's coming. That's next. Once this gets established, the men's, hang on. What if we went one further? What if it was integrated and it was one tour of men and women? That would really set the cat amongst the pigeons, wouldn't it? Against all this Saudi and negativity and all this sort of stuff. With the money and everything that goes on over there. Wouldn't it be weird if they had a combined men's and women's tour? Think about that for a minute. I wonder if they'll go down that road in 5 years, 10 years. Or they run the women's on a live tour, play for shitloads of cash. You got to open up what you think might happen here. Don't look at it as it was what you looking at from the PGA Tour, from the golf experts, commentators, and all these guys, because they got it so wrong. Now I'm seeing all the people who badmouthed and absolutely went to town about Live, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, even 4 weeks ago. Now they're all coming out and going, this is Lives at Pumpkin Ridge this week. These are the players that are going to be in. This is who's starting, and these are the team captains, and this is how it's going to go down. This is the course they're playing on. Look at this one. We haven't been here before. No major events been televised at the Pumpkin Ridge that we've seen in recent times. This is interesting. That's interesting. Where they go after here, they're going to go overseas. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. PGA Tour aren't going to take any events to Australia. It's not going to happen. Live will. I'm just telling you. Live will. PGA Tour won't. They couldn't give a shit. So there you go. That's my opinion, guys. I think Live's good. I think it's here to stay. I think it's going to go boom. And I can't wait to see once they start attracting the women's part of the game. The professional female players. You watch. It's coming, and it's coming at you. Now, there's one final point I wanted to just to bring out to all you people out there that are on the PGA Tour side and the legacy of Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and the like that all these upstanding players fought for, and all their time on the PGA Tour, and they created the tour and everything for all the modern players to play on and play for. We all know that Norman is working with the Saudi government or the Saudi people and getting money from the Saudi Gulf, and that are supporting LIV, and they're funding LIV and the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia and all this sort of stuff to get involved in golf. Norman's got golf courses that he's part of designing over there in Saudi Arabia and everything. So we all know that probably smart business, that if he's doing all this, he's going to get probably some more work over in Saudi Arabia. Goodness knows the Saudis want to do a lot more in the world of golf. They're building more golf courses and the like for that, so they can do that. These are all good things that that Norman's working for, and that's what he wants to do, and good on him for doing it his way. You can agree or disagree, whatever, but he's working at it, and it'll probably give him work on the back of all this. But Jack Nicklaus, a lot of people are using and throwing his name around. I haven't heard Jack talk a lot about the LIV thing. He's talked a bit about how he's defending the PGA Tour and what it stands for and what it is, and he was part of it. But he hasn't said anything negative about LIV so much that I've noticed. Probably for good reason. Went onto his website, because I know the Golden Bear Jack Nicklaus does a lot of golf course design around the world. I thought, I wonder how many golf courses Jack's done in the Middle East. He's done, I think it was 2 in Dubai. And then there's 1 in Saudi Arabia. This is on Jack Nicklaus' website. Jack Nicklaus Design. 1 in Saudi Arabia. Started only a couple of years ago, actually. And I believe it's not too far from completion. This is from the Jack Nicklaus website. For anyone wondering and talking about the LIV money, the Saudi Arabian money, the blood money as they call it. Well, Jack's, the PGA Tour, it's all about Jack and legacy and all this sort of stuff. But hang on. This is from Jack Nicklaus Golf Design website, and about this golf course that's being built in Saudi Arabia at the moment over the last couple of years. It's recent. So I'll read you this. Jack and Nicklaus Design are creating the championship course for a private golf and country club set within an exclusive residential community in the heart of the... Now, you'll have to bear with me as I try and bumble through some pronunciations from the Middle East. In the heart of the Qiddiya development, just outside Riyadh, with ground expected to be broken later this year. Now, this was obviously when it started, and it started in, I believe it was the end of 2019. The golf course will be framed by the majestic Tewaik mountain range. Tewaik mountain range. Commenting on Jack Nicklaus's involvement, His Excellency Yasser Al Ramayan, chairman of Golf Saudi and the Saudi Golf Federation, he said, to have the greatest ever golfer commit to making his mark upon our developing golf landscape in Saudi Arabia and at a project as significant as Qiddiya gives us great pride. To be part of the Nicklaus legacy will be something that we will always cherish, especially knowing the positive impact it will have on growing awareness of the sport at a domestic level, whilst increasing our national visibility as a vibrant new golf destination. We are looking forward to welcoming Mr. Nicklaus for his first visit to Saudi Arabia in the coming months. Nicklaus, the most decorated player in the game's history, commented, I am excited by this project and my first golf course design in the Middle East. To be selected as one of the first international designers to work in the kingdom is a great honour. I've already spent time looking at the topography of the land, images of the backdrop and terrain, and discussing with our design team a strategy for the course. The design will fully integrate the natural environment and the beautiful Qiddiya landscape, bringing together green spaces and mountainous terrain to form a picturesque canvas for both a beautiful and challenging golf course, said the Golden Bear. By being involved in this project, we hope to promote the development and enjoyment of the game in the kingdom, Nicklaus said. We not only want to entice Saudi residents to take up the great game of golf, but we also hope this presents employment opportunities for citizens of the kingdom that are within or related to the golf industry. This mirrors the vision of Qiddiya. All that's written, as quoted there, on Jack Nicklaus Golf Design website. Sounds awfully positive for Saudi Arabia. It's the man that everyone's quoting as the PGA Tour. Can't be touched. Now, Yasser bin Al Ramayan, that's how you pronounce it. the man of the Saudi Golf thing and Saudi Golf Federation. He happens to be the governor of the Public Investment Fund, which is the wealth fund of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, that Public Investment Fund is the people and the money funding LIV. It's the same person at the head of that that's funding LIV. Jack Nicklaus is working with that man, Yasser, and the Public Investment Fund and the Saudi Arabian Kingdom. As he put it, it's a great honour to work with the kingdom. This is Jack Nicklaus. This is one that everyone's using for positive words of the PGA Tour and negative words against the Saudi Arabian government. Now, Jack hasn't said anything that I've noticed against the Saudi Arabia. Now I know why. He's working with them. Specifically the same people, the same money that are funding LIV and Norman. I'll leave that one with you. Let me know your thoughts. So I hope you... look, out of all this, Walking the Fairways, everything LIV, the whole lot, guys, get in touch with me on social media. Tell me if you don't agree with me. Tell me if you think my comments are shit. Tell me if you think you agree with my comments. I want to hear more. I want to hear your thoughts. It's just about invoking conversation, guys. Let's not get nasty about it, even when we talk about it with our friends, whoever. It's just interesting. It's a point of discussion. The idea is to open up conversation. So let's go. Talk about it on socials, guys. Want to hear more from you, why you think it's good, why you think it's bad, whether you think the PGA Tour are doing the right thing, whether you think they're doing the wrong thing, and tell me your thoughts on Norman. Why not? All good, guys. Now, thank you very much. Please like, share, subscribe. Please pass it around to everyone. Feel free to comment, give me ratings, give me reviews. Written reviews work best. I love hearing from everyone out there, and I do thank you greatly for your time listening to me, Steve Smith, on the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast. So in the meantime, you hit them clean, we'll keep them green, and go and enjoy LIV as well on the side. I'll catch up with you soon.